smell of freshly mown grass usually meant summer in Meadowbrook, a quintessential American suburb where children rode bikes freely and block parties were a monthly ritual. But on that sweltering Tuesday morning, the only scent hanging heavy in the air was the metallic tang of something far more sinister, something that seeped from behind the immaculate white picket fence of the McGeady residence. Inside, a scene of unspeakable horror waited to be discovered, a testament to the chilling truth that sometimes the most perfect facades hide the most monstrous secrets. What happens when the family everyone admired, the one living the American dream, becomes the epicenter of a nightmare so profound it shatters the very concept of safety? The McGeady family, Michael and Felicia, and their two bright children, 16-year-old Kate and 10-year-old Evelyn, were Meadowbrook's golden standard. Michael, a respected financial advisor, was known for his calm demeanor and endless patience. Felicia, a vibrant and charismatic real estate agent, charmed everyone she met with her infectious laugh and impeccable style. Kate was a star student, headed for an Ivy League university, with a kind heart and a quick wit. Little Evelyn, with her bright, inquisitive eyes and a perpetually scraped knee, was the darling of the neighborhood. Their sprawling colonial home, with its manicured lawns and seasonal decorations, was a beacon of stability and happiness. They hosted the annual 4th of July barbecue, volunteered for every school fundraiser, and always had time for a friendly chat over the fence. They were, in every sense, the perfect family next door. The central issue, a slow-burning fuse beneath this seemingly perfect existence, was a deeply buried secret belonging to Felicia. It wasn't a secret born of malice, but one of desperate survival, a desperate act from a past she had meticulously erased. Felicia, born Maria Ramirez in a rough part of Los Angeles, had witnessed a horrific crime as a teenager. Caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, she became entangled with a dangerous street gang. Fearing for her life after a violent incident, she testified against key members, entering witness protection and disappearing without a trace. Her new identity, Felicia McGeady, was her shield, her chance at a normal life, but it was also a constant source of unspoken anxiety. This hidden past, a ghost she couldn't outrun, created an invisible tension within the family, a subtle tremor that only Felicia truly felt. She lived in a constant state of vigilance, a low hum of paranoia always present beneath her cheerful exterior. Felicia's background, with its gritty origins, stood in stark contrast to Michael's upbringing in a quiet New England town. Her choices to flee, to shed her identity, to build a new life from scratch, were born of fear and a powerful drive for survival. She built the perfect life not just for herself, but as a fortress against her past. But the very strength of her facade became its weakness. She avoided family gatherings, claiming her parents were deceased, when in fact, they were simply estranged by her sudden disappearance. She never spoke of Los Angeles, always steering conversations towards the present or future. These were small clues, easily dismissed by those who loved her, but they were cracks in the foundation, hints of the impending disaster. Michael, deeply in love, overlooked these inconsistencies, attributing them to her desire for privacy. Kate, perceptive as she was, noticed her mother's occasional jumpiness, the way her eyes would scan a room, but thought little of it. Evelyn, innocent and trusting, simply adored her vibrant mother. The fragile piece of the McGeady home began to unravel not with a bang, but with a whisper. A few weeks before the discovery, Felicia had received an anonymous, untraceable text message. "Maria, I know who you are, and I know where you live." The message, short and chilling, instantly reanimated the terror she had suppressed for decades. Her carefully constructed world began to crumble. She became withdrawn, her vibrant laugh replaced by a strained smile. Sleep eluded her, and dark circles deepened beneath her eyes. Michael, concerned, pressed her for answers, but Felicia, paralyzed by fear and a desperate need to protect her family from the truth, pushed him away. Can you imagine the agonizing choice Felicia faced? Reveal a dark secret and potentially shatter her family's trust? Or try to handle a terrifying threat alone? What would you do in her shoes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The moment the secret was truly uncovered, leading to the shocking murder, was pure, unadulterated chaos. It was a typical Tuesday morning, a day like any other. Michael had left for work early. Kate was at school, preparing for her final exams. Evelyn was at elementary school, likely engrossed in art class. Felicia, alone in the house, was on the phone, her voice hushed, her face pale. She was attempting to negotiate, to bargain with the person who had contacted her. A voice from her past, a ghost from the streets of LA. This was not a negotiation. It was a desperate plea for her family's safety. Suddenly, the front door burst open. Not Michael returning unexpectedly, but a figure Felicia recognized instantly from her nightmares. A man with cold, calculating eyes, one of the gang members she had testified against. He wasn't alone. Two other hulking figures followed him in, their faces grim, their intentions clear. Felicia's past had finally caught up to her. The next few minutes were a blur of terror. Felicia screamed, a raw, primal sound that echoed through the otherwise silent house. The men were not interested in money. They were there for revenge. A brutal struggle ensued in the impeccably decorated living room. Furniture was overturned, lamps shattered, and the walls, once witness to laughter and love, now bore the marks of a deadly fight. Felicia fought with the ferocity of a cornered animal, not just for her life, but for the lives of her children, for the perfect dream she had built. But she was outnumbered, outmatched. The violence was swift, merciless. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating, broken only by the sound of hurried footsteps leaving the house. It was Michael who discovered the horrifying scene. Returning home early after forgetting important documents, he walked into a nightmare. The pristine living room was a wreckage, and there, amidst the shattered porcelain and overturned cushions, lay Felicia. Her vibrant life extinguished, her secret revealed in the most brutal way imaginable. The emotional fallout was immediate and devastating. Michael's perfect world evaporated in an instant, replaced by a searing grief and a profound sense of betrayal. He was left with the unbearable truth that the woman he loved had harbored a dangerous secret that ultimately cost her life.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video.
Kate and Evelyn, arriving home from school to a street filled with police cars and flashing lights, were plunged into a vortex of unimaginable trauma. Their mother, their anchor, was gone. Their home, their sanctuary, was now a crime scene. The innocent facade of their family life was ripped away, exposing the terrifying reality of a mother's hidden past. They were left not just with grief, but with questions that no child should ever have to ask. Why? Who? And what else didn't they know? The McGeady murder sent shockwaves through Meadowbrook. The neighborhood that had once envied their perfect existence was now consumed by fear and disbelief. The police investigation quickly uncovered Felicia's true identity, Maria Ramirez, and her connection to the Los Angeles gang. The national news picked up the story, the sensational nature of the perfect family next door, crumbling under the weight of a violent, secret past dominating headlines across the United States and Canada. The case, initially perplexing, began to unravel as detectives followed the breadcrumbs of Felicia's old life. The men responsible for the murder were eventually identified, their motive clear: revenge for her testimony years ago. The immediate aftermath was a blur of police interviews, media frenzy, and the unbearable weight of living in a shattered home. Benjamin struggled to reconcile the woman he knew with the shadowy figure of Maria Ramirez. The betrayal, though overshadowed by grief, was a bitter pill to swallow. Kate and Evelyn, too, grappled with the revelation. For Kate, It was a profound blow to her sense of security and identity, forcing her to question everything she thought she knew about her parents. For Evelyn, it was a confusing, terrifying loss, leaving her vulnerable and deeply traumatized. The true perpetrators were apprehended in a coordinated effort across state lines, their capture bringing a thin veil of official justice to the devastated family. But for Michael, Kate, and Evelyn, the scars ran deep, a testament to the destructive power of a secret kept too long. The perfect family next door was now just a shell, forever marked by the violence that erupted from a mother's dark past. The legacy of Felicia's secret, however, wasn't fully contained by the arrests. As Michael struggled to put the pieces of their lives back together, he started noticing strange things. A faint, lingering scent of a perfume Felicia never wore. A single, unsettling whisper carried on the wind through their once-perfect living room. And one night, Kate found a hidden compartment behind a loose brick in the fireplace, containing a small, antique wooden box. Inside, amidst dusty old photographs, was a folded, yellowed newspaper clipping. The headline, from a Los Angeles paper dated 25 years ago, read, "Gang Leader, the Shadow Escapes High-Security Prison." The man Felicia had testified against, the one whose capture she thought had secured her freedom, was still out there. And he knew where Maria Ramirez had lived. The crumpled newspaper clipping in Kate's trembling hand was more than just old news. It was a chilling echo from the grave, a testament to a threat that refused to die. Gang Leader, the Shadow Escapes High-Security Prison. The perfect family next door was now a family living under the shadow of a truly terrifying figure, a man Felicia, or rather, Maria, had believed safely behind bars for 2 decades. The revelation plunged Michael, Kate, and even innocent Evelyn into a new, deeper nightmare. The initial arrests had brought a fleeting sense of justice, a semblance of closure. But this was different. This was the true architect of their misery, a ghost from the past who had finally found his way back. The investigation, initially focused on Felicia's immediate murderers, now pivoted violently. Detective Miller, the lead investigator who had patiently unraveled Maria Ramirez's past, felt a cold dread settle in. She knew the shadow Ricardo Ricky Morales by reputation, a ghost in the LA underworld, a man whose ruthlessness was legendary, even among hardened criminals. His escape, 2 years prior, had been a quiet scandal, quickly overshadowed by other major headlines. Now it was clear. He had been biding his time, meticulously tracking down the woman who put him away. If you're finding this unraveling mystery as chilling as we are, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more untold stories like the McGeady families to light. The psychological depth of the situation became agonizingly clear. Michael, already reeling from Felicia's death and the revelation of her secret life, now wrestled with a profound betrayal. Felicia hadn't just kept a secret. She had unknowingly brought a monster to their doorstep. He was consumed by guilt, wondering if his inability to truly know his wife had somehow enabled this tragedy. Kate, fiercely protective of her younger sister, channeled her grief into a burning resolve to understand and to ensure no more harm came to their fractured family. Evelyn, however, began to show the deepest wounds. Her once bright eyes now held a distant, haunted look. She talked to imaginary friends, whispered secrets to invisible figures, a chilling manifestation of her trauma. The community of Meadowbrook, initially buzzing with morbid curiosity, now felt a collective shiver down its spine. The perfect family had been shattered, and the specter of a vengeful gang leader meant their cozy suburb was no longer safe. Clues began to emerge, chillingly, from what was previously dismissed as paranoia. The faint, lingering scent of a perfume Felicia never wore? Michael now remembered seeing a shadowy figure near the house days before the murder, dismissing it as a delivery driver. The single, unsettling whisper carried on the wind? Perhaps not just the wind, but a scout, testing their vigilance. Miller revisited the crime scene with fresh eyes, looking for anything missed, any sign of the shadow, or his direct involvement before the final, bloody confrontation. She found a faint, almost imperceptible etching on the outer brick wall near the back fence. A stylized S she knew was Morales's personal tag, a signature of his presence. He hadn't just sent men, he had been there, lurking, watching. Red herrings cropped up, as they always do in complex cases. Early on, police had suspected a disgruntled former client of Michael's, a man who had lost heavily in a real estate deal. This lead was quickly discounted, but it wasted precious time. Later, they investigated a local petty thief who had been active in the area, but his methods were crude, lacking the calculated precision of the McGeady murder. The true complexity lay in the layers of deception Morales had meticulously constructed. He hadn't just escaped. He had built a new, clandestine network, fueled by old loyalties and new debts. The breakthrough came from an unexpected quarter, an old contact of Miller's in the LAPD gang unit, Detective Rodriguez. Miller shared the new lead about Morales, and Rodriguez, recognizing the grave danger, recalled a piece of obscure intel. Morales had a single, unswerving obsession, a particular brand of rare, hand-carved wooden chess pieces. He collected them, a bizarre hobby for a man of his brutality. This detail, seemingly trivial, was the key. Miller and Flores began tracking every known chess piece dealer in the country, a painstaking process. They found one, a small, unassuming shop in a remote Nevada town, that had recently shipped a complete, custom-made set to a P.O. box registered under a false name, but with a return address linked to an abandoned cabin in the Sierra Nevada foothills, a place notorious for off-grid living and transient populations. The psychological profile of Morales, a man of extreme control and perverse intelligence, aligned perfectly with such an isolated, almost ceremonial pursuit of his twisted desires. He was a predator who enjoyed the hunt, the meticulous planning, the slow unraveling of his prey. The pursuit of the shadow became a race against time, a desperate mission to bring a monster to justice. Michael, consumed by a fierce determination, insisted on accompanying the task force. He needed to see this through, to understand the depth of his wife's sacrifice, and to protect what remained of his family. Kate, though frightened, found a surprising strength, becoming her father's silent support, her quiet resilience mirroring her mother's hidden fortitude. The Sierra Nevada cabin was a chilling testament to Morales's meticulous nature. It was Spartan yet organized, almost monastic. The chess pieces were laid out on a rough wooden table, an unfinished game waiting to be played. As the team meticulously searched the cabin, they discovered a series of coded messages, a chilling diary of Morales's 2-year hunt for Maria. It detailed his methodical tracking, his pleasure in witnessing her perfect life, his twisted anticipation of breaking her. The depth of his obsession, his patient, calculated malice, was truly terrifying. The confrontation with Morales was a tense, drawn-out affair. He was not in the cabin. He had sensed their approach, a survivor's instinct honed over decades of living on the edge. He led them on a brutal chase through the rugged mountain terrain, a cat-and-mouse game where every rock, every shadow, seemed to hide a threat. He was a ghost in the landscape, moving with an uncanny grace, his knowledge of the wilderness almost supernatural. The ultimate resolution came not through brute force, but through strategy and psychological warfare. Miller, understanding Morales's need for control and his inherent narcissism, broadcasted a message over a tactical channel she knew he could intercept. She challenged his intelligence, his perceived invincibility, questioning his ability to outsmart them. The bait worked. Morales, unable to resist the lure of a true test of wills, emerged from hiding, his face a mask of cold fury. The final standoff was brief and violent. Morales, a man who had brought so much pain and destruction into the world, was finally neutralized, his reign of terror brought to an end. The silence that followed was deafening, a profound quiet that settled over the mountains as the last echoes of gunfire faded. The broader impact of the McGeady murders resonated deeply across the United States and Canada. It became a chilling case study in the vulnerability of witness protection programs and the terrifying resilience of organized crime. It forced communities to confront the uncomfortable truth that danger isn't always from outside. Sometimes, it can stem from secrets buried deep within the lives of those we think we know best. The story served as a harsh reminder that even in the most idyllic suburban havens, the shadows of a past can reach out and claim innocent lives. For Michael, Kate, and Evelyn, the healing process would be long and arduous. Justice, in this brutal case, was served with the capture and elimination of the shadow. The immediate threat was gone, but the emotional scars remained, a permanent testament to the cost of a mother's dark secret. Michael dedicated himself to rebuilding their lives, ensuring Kate and Evelyn received the therapy and support they desperately needed. Kate, once destined for Ivy League, chose instead to study criminal psychology, driven by a desire to understand the very darkness that had consumed her family. Evelyn slowly began to emerge from her shell, but the whispers in the walls, though less frequent, would likely never fully cease. The story of the McGeady family is a haunting reminder that the pursuit of a perfect life can sometimes come at an unbearable cost, and that some secrets, no matter how deeply buried, will eventually surface, leaving behind a trail of devastation. The shadows may recede, but they never truly disappear. The memory of the perfect family next door, and the nightmare that lurked inside their walls, would forever serve as a chilling cautionary tale.